Discourses by Mayor Baba. The Types of Meditation, Part 1. The Nature of Meditation and its Conditions. Meditation may be described as a path that the individual cuts for himself while trying to get beyond the limitations of the mind. If a person caught in the tangles of a thick forest tries to get out into the open, his efforts to break through the encircling impediments will leave behind the marks of his journey. By the study of these marks, an observer would be able to describe the path he traversed and his attempt to come out into the open. The movements of one who comes out of the forest are different in principle from those of a railway engine, for instance, which moves along rails already laid on the course it's to take. The individual is not following a ready-made path. The path becomes imprinted after he has traversed it. In the same way, the person who finds himself drawn into deep meditation is really grappling with the spiritual problems he faces and not merely trying to follow a rigid course that already exists in his mental makeup. The development of meditation can nevertheless be anticipated and outlined by those who've directed insight into the particular contours of the mind of an individual, in the same way that one who has a thorough acquaintance with the details of the constitution of Earth's solidified crust may, in general, expect the outburst of a volcano in one region rather than another. When the surging powers in the bowels of the earth are trying to burst out, they are bound to take the line of least resistance, and their actual passage will be dependent largely upon the nature of the surroundings with which they are confronted. The difference between volcanic forces and the spiritual urge is that the former are unconscious, while the latter is a conscious phenomenon. Intelligence plays an important part in the course of meditation, and it is this intelligence that is kindled by a perfect master who gives the aspirant a few simple suggestions about what kinds of things he has to do or expect in his meditations. Meditation has often been misunderstood as a mechanical process of forcing the mind upon some idea or object. Most people naturally have an aversion to meditation because they experience great difficulty in attempting to coerce the mind in a particular direction or to pin it down to one particular thing. Any purely mechanical handling of the mind is not only irksome, but is bound ultimately to be unsuccessful. The first principle aspirants have to remember is that the mind can be controlled and directed in meditation only according to laws inherent in the makeup of the mind itself, and not by means of the application of any mechanical or semi-mechanical force. Many persons who do not technically meditate are oftentimes found to be deeply and intensely engrossed in systemic and clear thinking about some practical problem or theoretical subject. Their mental process is, in a sense, very much like meditation, inasmuch as the mind is engrossed in intense thinking about a particular subject to the exclusion of all other irrelevant things. Meditation is often easy and spontaneous in such mental processes because the mind is dwelling upon an object that it is interested in and that it increasingly understands. The spiritual tragedy about ordinary trains of thought is that they are not directed toward things that really matter. On the other hand, the object of real meditation always has to be carefully selected and must be spiritually important. It has to be some divine form or object, or some spiritually significant theme or truth, in order to attain success in meditation. The mind must not only get interested in divine subjects or truths, but must also begin to try to understand and appreciate them. Such intelligent meditation is a natural process of the mind, and since it avoids the monotonous rigidity and regularity of mechanical meditation, it becomes not only spontaneous and inspiring, but easy and successful. Meditation should be distinguished from concentration. Meditation is the first stage of a process that gradually develops into concentration. In concentration, the mind seeks to unite with its object by the process of fixing itself upon that object, whereas meditation consists in thorough thinking about a particular object to the exclusion of every other thing. In concentration, there's practically no movement of the mind, but in meditation, the mind moves from one relevant idea to another. In concentration, the mind merely dwells upon some form or a pithy and concise formula without amplifying it through a succession of ideas. In meditation, the mind tries to understand and assimilate the object by dwelling upon diverse attributes of the form or various implications of the formula. In concentration, as well as in meditation, there is a peaceful intermingling of love and longing for the divine object or principle upon which the mind dwells. And both these activities are very different from the merely mechanical processes that have rigid regularity and unrelieved monotony. Persons with no capacity for intense concentration have to begin with meditation, whereas for those who have a capacity for concentration, meditation is unnecessary. It is sufficient if they concentrate on the mere form of the God-man, or a man-God, or in some simple formula like, I am neither the gross body, nor the subtle body, nor the mental body. I am the Atma, soul. Meditation is essentially an individual matter in the sense that it is not for self-display in society, but for one's own spiritual advancement. Utter isolation of the individual from social surroundings is almost always conducive to the unhampered practice of meditation. The ancient yogis took to the mountaintops or caves in search of complete seclusion. Great quiet and undisturbed silence are essential for attaining success. However, it's not necessary for a person to go to the mountains or caves in search of these conditions. Even in cities, a little care and trouble can secure for the aspirant the quiet, silence, and seclusion necessary to facilitate and promote progress in the different forms of meditation. Darkness or closing one's eyes is not absolutely necessary for meditation. If the aspirant is face to face with the object of meditation, he may have a successful meditation even when his eyes are open. But in most cases, getting away from all gross sight and sound is more conducive to intensive meditation. To secure complete external silence involves careful selection of the spot for meditation. But one has only to close one's eyes in order to protect the mind from the disturbances of sight. Sometimes, when there is light, closing the eyes is not sufficient to ward off all visual stimulation. Then it is advisable to start meditation in complete darkness. Darkness normally promotes progress in meditation. With regard to posture, there are no fixed rules. Any posture that is comfortable may be adopted, so long as it contributes to the alertness of the mind and does not induce sleep. The posture should not involve any physical tension or pain, because it would then draw attention to the body itself. The body should, therefore, be completely relaxed as when going to sleep, but the usual position taken in sleep should be avoided because of its tendency to induce sleep. When the body has assumed a convenient and suitable posture, it is helpful to think of the head as the center of the body. When the head is regarded as the center, it is easier to forget the body and to fix one's attention on the object of meditation. It is desirable that the aspirant should maintain the same posture for each meditation. The previous associations the posture has with his meditation endow it with a special capacity to induce and facilitate similar meditations. When the body has assumed the chosen posture, it is constantly under the subconscious suggestion that it must no longer obtrude upon consciousness and that it has to serve the purpose of meditation. Choosing the same spot and a fixed hour also has a salutary effect. Hence, the aspirant must be serious about resorting to an identical place, posture, and hour. The choice of the spot also involves consideration of the spiritual associations and possibilities of the spot. Special importance is attached to meditating in holy places where the masters themselves have lived or meditated. The place, posture, and hour of meditation all have their relative importance, which varies according to the peculiarities and history of the individual. A master, therefore, often gives different instructions to each disciple to suit the individual case. However, when meditation has become habitual through constant practice, adherence to a fixed place, posture, or time can be dispensed with, and the aspirant can carry on his meditation at any time under any conditions. Even when he's walking, he may be inwardly absorbed in meditation. Meditation should not be approached with a heavy heart, as if one were taking castor oil. One has to be serious about meditation, but not grave or melancholy. Humor and cheerfulness not only do not interfere with the progress of meditation, but actually contribute to it. Meditation should not be turned into a distasteful and tiresome thing. The aspirant should freely allow himself the natural joy that is attendant upon successful meditation without getting addicted to it. Meditation should be something like a picnic on the higher planes, like excursions into new and beautiful natural surroundings. Meditation brings with it a sense of enthusiasm, adventure, peace, and exhilaration. All thoughts of depression, fear, or worry have to be cut out completely if there is to be really successful meditation. Though meditation is essentially an individual matter, collective meditation has its own advantages. If different aspirants who are in harmony with each other take the same line of meditation together, their thoughts have a tendency to augment and strengthen each other. This is particularly noticeable when disciples of the same master are collectively engaged in meditating upon that master. If collective meditation of this type is to yield its full advantage, each aspirant who participates must be concerned with the course of his own meditation and not with what the others of the group are doing. Though he starts his meditation in the company of others, he has to lose himself in the object of his meditation. He has to be entirely oblivious of the whole world, including his body, and he has to be exclusively cognizant of the object agreed upon before the beginning of the meditation. When intelligently handled, collective meditation can be of immense help to beginners, while advanced aspirants can carry on by themselves. In ordinary thinking, the uninterrupted flow of relevant trains of ideas is common. But when the mind sets itself to systemic meditation, there is inevitably a reactionary tendency for irrelevant and contrary thoughts to emerge and create disturbances. This is the law of the mind, and the aspirant should not be upset by the appearances and the consciousness of many contrary and unwholesome thoughts that had hitherto never made their appearance. Meditation involves bringing the subconscious contents of the mind to the forefront of the consciousness. Like the conjurer who summons into existence many strange and unexpected things, the process of meditation invites many absurd and unwanted thoughts. The aspirant must expect and be prepared for all these disturbing thoughts, and should exercise inexhaustible patience with unshakable confidence that ultimately all these disturbances will be overcome. The last, but not least, important condition for attaining success in meditation is adoption of the right technique for handling disturbing thoughts and mental influences. It is useless to waste energy by trying to combat and repress disturbing thoughts directly. Any such attempt involves giving further attention to them, and they feed upon the very attention given for the purpose of repressing them, thereby being further strengthened and confirmed in the consciousness. It is best to ignore them and turn to the object of meditation as early as possible, without attaching any undue importance to the disturbing factors. By recognizing the irrelevance and worthlessness of disturbing thoughts and the relative value and importance of the object of meditation, it becomes possible to let the disturbing thoughts die through sheer neglect, thus making the mind permanently steady in the object of meditation.